Hi everyone, this is Charles Ladia, and welcome to Speaking Of, where we will be having conversations on the process of being and becoming. So every week we will invite interesting people and interesting personalities to share with us their experiences and their stories about their own lives and their own interests. So for this week, I'm quite excited because I've always been curious about the lifestyle, the passion, and the commitment of being a K-pop fan. So let's start. Hi everyone, welcome again to Speaking Of. And for our episode today, our guest is a certified K-pop fan. So I will introduce to you our guest for this episode. She's a graduate of the BA Speech Communication program of UP Diliman just last year. She's a Hallyu fan since 2010. So 10 years na siyang fan ng K-pop and everything Korean. K-pop multi, ibig sabihin marami siyang iba't ibang groups that she subscribes to. And she was also an exchange student from Kangwon National University, and now she's a full-time human resource officer and a fangirl. So please welcome Jovi Maniago. Hi Jovi.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Nung
everyone.
binabasa ko nung binabasa ko yung description mo, 10 years. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Parang sobrang a big chunk of your life kasi you're still in your 20s, 'di ba, Jovi?
Yes, yes, sir.
So a
Early
big
20s.
so technically 50% of your life ay pagiging K-pop fan. Right. So
Yes.
let's start and let's discuss. Ang discussion natin today will be the life of being a K-pop fangirl because I've always been curious about the passion, about the commitment talaga of being a K-pop fan, di ba? And
Yeah.
also, I want to discuss your undergraduate thesis about
Mm-hmm.
K-pop fandom then. So we will start our discussion with this question first. What was your introduction to the Hallyu phenomenon? Kasi di ba sa Philippines, pumasok siya around 2000.
Yes.
Medyo baby ka pa siguro nun,
Yeah.
Joey, 'no? Pero
1 year old.
in 2010, 2011, how were you introduced to K-pop fan?
Okay. Actually, sir, I was introduced through dramas, yung K-dramas. So, it started with Boys Over Flowers because around that time, kasi, internet wasn't still that stable. And then you were able to find pirated DVDs of complete episodes of the K-drama. So I used to buy them a lot.
So, K-drama ang una mo, ang
Mm-mm.
start mo.
Yeah. And then syempre yung K-dramas, they offer parang very very good sense of OSTs. So doon ako naging slowly interested sa K-pop because Double S501, if their listeners know them, that group was their leader was part of the cast, the main lead. And then sila din yung kumanta ng most of the OST. So
Hmm.
I listened to them, and then I also got into K-pop through Mix. Cause back then again, cable TV
Oo.
is so trendy. So I always watch Mix as in every day. I tuned into yung Mix Daily Top 10, International Top 20. Tas from there I
Tapos
watched
ang daming K-pop na pinapatugtog dun, 'di ba?
yeah.
Right. Tapos yung Boys Over Flowers, sobrang sikat na siya even before kasi 'di ba may Taiwanese version.
Yeah, Meet Your
Tapos yung
Garden.
Boys Over Flowers nag-Korean version din, siyempre ito si Lee Min Ho. Tas may
Mm-mm.
mga songs din sila, 'di ba?
Mm-mm.
Very interesting 'yun. So yun pala yung connection between K-drama and K-pop. Ngayon ko nga lang na-realize na most of the time, yung
Mm-mm.
OST nga of the K-drama would be sung by a K-pop idol or a K-pop band. So what were your initial thoughts about K-pop, about K-drama in general?
Okay. Actually, K-drama, it's very interesting kasi it's refreshing, 'di ba? Parang very different siya from how we do it here in the Philippines. So, kaya lagi akong nanonood ng K-drama back then. But yung K-pop, medyo ako nun first, medyo na-weirdohan ako. Because their music style is loud, it's pop. Tapos their fashion taste, it's so confusing. Kasi, di ba, parang usually in ASAP when you watch Sarah Hieronymus, naka-gown sila, ganyan. Tapos on
Mm.
K-pop, they wear very colorful clothes. For example, Girls' Generation. And then they are singing as a language that you cannot understand. So medyo at first confused ako, but their songs are very catchy. So that's what led me to become more interested in them.
Tapos Jovi, merong mga generations din ng K-pop, 'di ba? Nung
Yeah.
nagre-research ako about K-pop, very interesting yung generations.
Yeah.
Kasi ang pinaka-familiar sa akin na nauna would be 21.
Okay,
Because of
second
course
gen.
Sandara Park was a part of or as a part of 21. So
Yeah.
second generation na ang 21.
Yes.
Sino yung mga first generation?
Okay. Well, kasi yung first generation was HOT.
Parang may pa-quiz to. Okay.
Oh no. Anyways, yung HOT, Setchkeys, and BEG, yung mga yon, sila yung mga
Mm.
founders of K-pop. Tapos eventually, yun din yung mga people na nandun, sila din yung nag-build ng mga sikat na agencies right now. Such as
Oh.
JYP Entertainment. JYP is part of the first gen. Yun. So, dun sila nag-start from 1995 kasi may history. Pero like, it started with 1995 onwards.
May pa-history, pero go.
And then, second gen was Big Bang, Super Junior, Girls'
Mm.
Generation, and 21 as well. Sila yung nag-start na nung Asian, kumbaga Asian border na yung tinap nila.
Invasion, ganun, domination na.
Mm-mm.
Very interesting. Ito na siguro yung mga naabutan ko. Ito yung medyo familiar ako with Big Bang, with 21 nga, with Girls' Generation. Syempre sa Philippines, sobrang ang laki ng 21. Ang laki din
Yeah.
nung, yung Nobody But You.
Wonder
Sobrang
Girls.
naging, Wonder Girls, sobrang lumaki siya dito sa Philippines, diba? Tapos, nagkaroon din tayo ng mga K-drama adaptation.
Yes.
Diba, naaalala ko, sobrang sikat ng Full House. Diba, ginawa rin siya sa Philippines.
Yes.
Tapos yung My Girl, Lovers in Paris. So talagang kasama ang Philippines dito sa mga medyo maaga pa na domination ng Hallyu wave sa buong mundo.
Yeah.
Diba? So balik na tayo ngayon dun sa generation. So nung pagpasok ng third generation, technically, Jovi, dito ka na naging fan.
Yeah, in a way. Kasi, pero yung fandom ko, mga second gen. Because I preferred their songs more. Yung mga Big Bang. I started with that. But then, eventually, of course, as well as Big Bang, VIP fandom. I was part of BAP fandom. It's called Baby. So, yun. Third gen sila, along with EXO, VIX, EXID, yung mga 2012 onwards, yun yung third gen. This time naman, sila yung mas naging global group kasi kasama din dun yung BTS. Third gen pala sila, yes.
Okay. So hanggang ngayon, third generation, itong mga napapanood nating mga K-pop groups, mga third generation pa rin sila hanggang ngayon.
No, sir.
Or may fourth na.
Fourth na sila.
Yung current ngayon is fourth.
Mm-mm.
So sino na naman ang kasama sa mga fourth generation?
Fourth gen is 80s, Stray Kids, S-Pop, Blackpink, yun.
Yung pala yung mga bago. So, talagang they evolve, right? Siguro yun din yung nakikita natin. Mamaya pag-usapan natin ng isang K-pop group na talagang nag-evolve kasi napanood ko yung mga videos nila dati. Pero, Jovi, itong introduction mo to sa Hallyu phenomenon, did it also inspire you? Kasi you also went on exchange sa Korea.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
So, parang that's the ultimate life of a K-pop fangirl to be in South Korea sa peak ng lahat ng nangyayaring ito. So maybe you can share with us your experiences of being a K-pop fangirl in Korea.
Okay. Okay, sorry, Oil. Pero yun talaga yung goal ko doon.
Siyempre, part studying naman siya.
Yeah.
Pero of course, hindi mo naman kasi maaalis na talagang it's a part of being there, di ba?
I mean, of course, I was very interested in learning in learning, especially abroad. Pero of course, I chose Korea kasi nga naman, pa now for so long. And that's the dream, as you said, sir. So, basically, before I went there, I had a bucket list. So, parang, ito yung mga gusto kong gawin.
Wow.
Tapos, I'm happy to say naman na I did all of them.
Pwede ba namin nalaman yung mga, konti lang, mga part ng bucket list na yan?
Sige. Okay. First of all, go to a concert. I went twice.
You went twice to twice or
I don't know. I mean, twice na concert.
okay.
First is Day 6 and then
Mm.
the Dream concert. So the Dream concert is a joint concert. So marami akong groups na nakita doon.
Parang ano siya, K-Con, di ba? Yung tawag nilang
Yes.
con. Okay.
And then second, buy merch. I was
Okay.
able to buy merch. I was able to buy light sticks, yung mga official dolls, mga ganun. Kasi marami sila sa Myeongdong, ganyan. And then
Mm.
third is to have an album. I didn't
Okay.
buy it. I got it for free. Kasi in fan cafes, you can just, message a Korean fan kasi I know Korean naman. And then, binigyan niya ako. I just paid for the shipping. And
Oh. So, ibig
then,
sabihin talaga they're very generous
yeah,
about giving, itong mga fans din na ito, talagang may community ng K-pop fans, no? That's also very interesting to know. Tapos, nakita ko rin, di ba, may mga fans din na talaga nag-aabang dun sa mga agencies. Tapos,
yes,
they're waiting for their K-pop idols. Ginawa mo rin ba yun? Nag-abang ka sa
yes.
mga agencies?
Yeah, I tried it. Kasi I also went parang agency hopping sa Seoul. So I went to EYG, SM. Pero mas tumambay ako sa JYP. Because doon may Dunkin' Donuts sa tapat. So medyo hindi siya obvious na naghihintay ka for them. I saw Stray Kids there.
Na pumapasok labas lang din sa
Yes.
kanilang
May
agency.
bodyguard sila pag naglalakad.
Yun nga yung sabi ko, di ba? Parang that's the ultimate life of being a K-pop fan, di ba? Being in South Korea. So ako din. But when did you decide and why did you decide to stan BTS? Doon sa mga, bago natin pag-usapan to Jovi, no? Paliwanag mo muna yung stan. Kasi it's a word that is used or that was introduced because of stanning these Korean pop groups. So ano ba yung stan?
Okay, so a stan is parang a general term you can call yourself. Kasi parang in a way, fangirl and fanboy, medyo ano na siya, parang gender, ano na siya, specific. So pag stan ka, that means you are a fan of something. So it can also be a verb. It's a verb and a noun in the same way. Kasi you can just say, I'm standing these groups and I'm a stan. So yun siya in our fandom lingo.
Okay. So now let's go to the question. When and why did you decide to, syempre marami ka namang sinusupport na K-pop groups, diba?
Yeah.
Pero why BTS? Nabasa ko kasi parang they started 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapos medyo ito yung introduction mo rin sa K-pop. So bakit BTS ang isa sa mga napili mo to stan?
Okay. So, I got to know them 2013 when they debuted, pero not on their debut month. Because I was just scrolling. This is a funny story. Pero sige, I was scrolling through Tumblr kasi back then, Tumblr was a huge platform for fandoms. Hindi pa Twitter. So I was scrolling through my dashboard and then I found a GIF set because that's how bloggers do it. They do GIF sets with subs. And then I saw that BTS group, that group with subs. They were doing a message of hope for the Yolanda victims.
Hmm.
So I was like, I mean, I don't know them pa naman. So I was like, who is this group? Why are they parang sending a message to Yolanda victims? Parang, oh, that's so sweet. Then I did the research kasi it's part of their caption naman, BTS greets, ganyan-ganyan. I searched them on YouTube and then watched their video. The very first music video I watched was We Are Bulletproof Part 2. And then after watching that, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Kasi it's dancing. And then basta may hat tricks kasi sila dun sis. Sobrang nakulan ako doon. And then I watched more. Tapos sabi ko, oh, I'll stand this group kasi they're hip hop and back then talaga super big BAP and Big Bang fan ako, and those are very hip hop based K-pop groups. So parang, okay, I'm gonna add this group sa aking stan list. So that's how it went.
So dumadagdag pala yung stan list
Yeah.
ni Jovi, 'di ba? Habang dumadami. Tapos Jovi, correct me if I'm wrong, because I research on BTS din. Syempre nung gumawa ka ng undergraduate thesis, kailangan syempre committed din ako to the process of doing the undergraduate thesis. So hindi naman natin siya mapapag-aralan kung hindi ko siya malalaman kung sino nga ba yung BTS. Tapos nagulat ako, grabe yung growth nila from then until now. And I think correct me if I'm wrong na, pero yung ganitong story ay sobrang benta sa Filipino fans.
Yes.
Diba? Yung from simple to now, one of the biggest, if not the biggest group in the world right now. 'di ba? So, paano ka nakuha or paano ka naka-identify with BTS during that time?
Kasi, sir, I think what really hooked me to them was their message. Kasi very ano siya, very strong yung message nila, especially yung No More Dream. It's parang you're a student and then these are your dreams, ganyan. It's parang you can relate to that in a way kasi parang I've always been ano naman talaga yung medyo ah, I have principles then. Parang you share same principles with them. So parang, okay, I like this group. And then also, of course, what really hooks me to groups kasi is their variety sense. Parang yung 'pag fun
Mhm.
sila panoodin and yung
Yes.
variety shows nila sobrang funny, especially yung Rookie King when it released sobrang funny nila. So parang dun ako na sabi ko, "Okay,
Ang
they
ang
are very
napapanood
funny."
ko nowadays ay yung Run BTS.
Yeah.
Talagang fun nga sila as a group as well. So, sino ang iyong, anong tinatawag nila dun kapag meron kang pinipili na isa amongst the
Bias?
7? Sino ang bias mo sa 7 na BTS members? Puwede naman siguro nating pag-usapan.
Sige, sige. Ever since talaga J-Hope, yan my
J-Hope.
bias.
Ang cute ni J-Hope kapag lagi niyang in-introduce yung sarili niya, 'di ba, as
Yes,
"You're my hope, I'm your hope, I'm
I'm
J-Hope."
J-Hope.
Pero bukod sa bias, 'di ba, meron ding isang term na tinatawag na bias wrecker.
Yes.
So, sino naman ang iyong bias wrecker?
I think, siguro si ano, si Suga.
Suga. Na siyempre nitong nakaraan medyo absent
Mm,
siya from the groups, pero I feel andun pa rin yung, collective nila as a group 'no, lagi nilang
mm.
sinasama si Suga sa mga ginagawa nila. So Jovi, how did you show your support to BTS? Ano yung mga ginagawa mong
Ah,
actions or activities to support them?
okay. Cause I was a big fan of them when I was in high school. When you're in high school, you don't have much resources, eh. Apart from time, you have a
Yes.
lot of time. So that's what I dedicated to them. A lot of time. I vote. I mean, parang I help with mass voting through Twitter or like pag mama voting season, I vote for them. Pag pag they get nominated with awards, so I vote for them. As in usually online means yung support ko, cause wala pa akong allowance that time, eh. So, in terms of,
Yes.
supporting financially, I still cannot afford that time. So, streaming the music videos, although not as hard as what they do nowadays kasi nung high school fan ako, siyempre internet wasn't that superb pa naman. So, we don't stream as much. Although I really, support them and then I spread the word to my friends parang, "Oh my God, have you watched this?" Ganyan. I'm parang gaining more fans kasi I'm spreading their word. Charot, mga gano'n.
Right, spreading their word. Pero siguro, ang grabe yung effort 'no, nakita ko nga yung pataasan ng views, pataasan ng
Mhm.
likes, pataasan ng, trend sa Twitter. Ngayon 'di ba parang, some of the most liked and most retweeted tweets ay tweets ng BTS fandom. So talagang
Yes.
effort, talagang time, and yung iba talagang money yung dine-devote nila to BTS. Pero ikaw, Jovi, ang dinevote mo sa BTS ay ang iyong undergraduate thesis. 'Di ba parang of all the topics that you can talk about, kasi speech com is such a big field, 'di ba?
Yes.
It's such a general field. Pero ikaw, you focus on K-pop, you focus on fandom, you focus on BTS. So yes. So maybe take me to that time when you decided, eto yung pag-aaralan ko. Kasi para sa mga listeners natin 'no, 1 year of your life as a speech com undergrad ay i-spend mo sa, thesis. So ibig sabihin talaga you committed 1 year to
Mm.
BTS. So take me to that time when you decide BTS ang
Okay.
pag-aaralan.
Actually, 1.5 year in the making yung thesis ko. Yeah. So, come 197, Ma'am Tin parang made us submit 2 proposals of both quanti and quali. So, with quanti, sige, I chose something na parang I forgot na, eh, pero with quali sabi ko, "Oh my God, what should I do? I don't know what to put here." Tapos I called my friend, I SOS, sabi ko, "Oh my God, ano bang magandang topic ilagay?" As in, just to pass something for a grade. Sabi ng friend ko, "Why not do something about K-pop? You're a fan." Sabi ko, "Oo nga 'no, okay, I'll write it." Pero anong theory ko? siya din nag-supply, sabi niya.
Baka siya dapat ang pumasa pala sa klase na yun.
Hindi kasi sir, ano na siya eh, nag-199 na siya that time.
Mm.
Yeah, nag-199 na. Ay, 200 na ata siya that time. So, parang sabi niya, hindi kasi I learned sa 197 namin, Parasocial Interaction Theory. Sabi niya, talaga ba? Sige, nilagay ko doon. Eh, actually, nung when I wrote it, medyo wala pa talaga ako masyadong idea sa PSI. So, I just wrote it, in a sense. Tapos, when you were part of our 197 na, medyo in-expound ko na doon. Although, binitawan ko yung PSI. Because gusto ko maging rhetoric. So, dun pa ako kay Burke identification theory. Yun pa yung gusto kong i-push forward ng 197. Pero, solid na yung main topic, which is BTS. Kasi it just makes sense, perfect sense na parang you'll choose BTS because they are the biggest K-pop group right now. They're the most trendy. You'll get a lot of resources from them.
Artifacts, yes.
Yeah. So parang I
Yes.
chose them. Even though, very interesting din kasi I left the fandom in 2017. So, medyo parang kumbaga in a way, getting back to your ex, gano'n.
Wow.
Ganun yung nangyari kasi parang ang tagal ko na silang iniwan. Although I keep myself updated pa rin naman most of the time. But yung fandom, medyo detached na ako.
Mm.
Yun. Pero it just made sense to me na parang I'll choose BTS over other groups kasi mas matunog sila right now eh. And
Right.
mas gusto ko sila intindihan.
Tsaka nga, talagang phenomenon, sobrang laki ng phenomenon ng BTS in the past few years. So I think I understand where that is also coming from. Tapos going back to your ex nga, 'di ba? Parang meron kang idea din as a researcher. Alam mo, pero you are a bit detached from that phenomenon as well. So maybe let's discuss first, kasi speaking of then, we will discuss a bit of communication theories in this aspect. Let us discuss parasocial interaction, di ba? Ano nga ba yung parasocial interaction? So it was developed by Horton and Wohl in the 1950s. Medyo maaga siya. Pero Jovi, sige, maybe you can discuss ano nga ba yung parasocial interaction and why did you become interested in using parasocial interaction in BTS?
Okay. So, I chose parasocial interaction as the main theory, pero hindi talaga siya pinaka-main. Yung naging main theory ko, inspired by PSI.
Mm.
Pero, yeah, 1956 yon yung Horton and Wall. Basically, they wanted to parang conceptualize something about the viewers, TV viewers kasi yun eh. Why do TV viewers feel invested whenever they watch something on screen? So, parang kinakausap nila yung mga
Yes.
actresses, yun. Dun siya nag-start na parang you feel connected to them. So, in a sense, it started with TV, pero syempre over time, nag-evolve yung media, hindi na siya TV lang. So, fan studies also try to understand fans. So, it's a mix of media and fan studies in a sense. Kasi syempre, with fan studies naman, you have Jenkins,
Yes.
1992. So, as a parang nagsimula ng fan studies na parang field in a sense, ganun sila.
Right.
So, and then I chose parasocial engagement theory ni Tukaczynski and Stever. Actually, si Gil Stever talaga sobrang dami niyang inputs about fan studies. Pero psych leaning siya. So, it's a mix of psych leaning theory and then dami niyang facet actually.
May media, may relationships,
And,
diba? So itong parasocial interaction, parasocial engagement, very interesting to, diba? Because you feel that you're connected or related to your idols, to your celebrities. Yung iba sa sports, diba? Sa sports groups. And very quantitative kasi itong theory na ito because you can actually measure the level of parasocial engagement and parasocial interaction as well. At sa advertisement din, di ba, ginagamit siya. Parang the more related you are or the more you feel that you're related to your idol, the more that you buy stuff that they endorse.
yes.
Diba? So, very interesting kasi yung perspective na ito, Jovi, lalo na sa thesis mo. Kasi kitang-kita naman talaga natin na ang daming fans, they feel really related to the idol, specifically to the BTS fans. So maybe let's start discussing about your thesis, diba? So napili mo na siya, ito na yung topic mo. So I want to know the process of getting fellow K-pop fans. Madali ba siya? Mahirap ba siya? Ano yung
Ah,
mga napagdaanan mo getting them?
okay. Actually, as expected, it was easy for me to get participants. I posted pub material on Facebook. Because my friends were excited. They shared it. Because I received so many messages agad in one night. So parang parang I left it muna for a night, parang, and then I got back tomorrow morning and then scheduled them. It was easy kasi, as you know, there's a lot of armies in the
So, ibig
Philippines.
sabihin, one night ka lang naghintay ng participants.
Yeah, one night and then I scheduled them all in a week. So parang parang
Mabilisan,
nalatag na
mabilisan.
agad siya.
To think na pandemic pa siya gumawa ng research. So,
Yeah.
a lot of students, they found it hard to look for participants. Pero, ito, one night lang siya. Tapos, di ba, ang daming participants that you needed to interview. Tapos, focus
Yeah.
group pa yung iba.
Yeah, in total ata it was 13 participants, but it was easier kasi I submitted my interview guide early and then it got approved early. So before the pandemic hit, I was able to gather all my data na. So yung pandemic na I was just analyzing and compiling data. I finished my data gathering Feb 28. So yun.
Before everything happened.
Yes.
Diba? So, nung na-meet mo na sila isa-isa, I'm sure may part interview, part fangirling
Yeah.
ang nangyari sa mga FGDs na ito at sa mga individual interviews na ito. So maybe you can share with us some results, some
Mhm.
interesting findings, and some personal notes that you've had while doing the interview and while doing the research.
First of all, kahit na ano yung personality nung participant that I interview, I was able to bond with them well. Because, common denominator of us is that we're both fangirls. So we understand yung
Yes.
stories that I understand what they're saying, and then whenever I pitch in some of my inputs as well, but excited sila. Hindi sila yung hesitant mag-share, ganyan. Very, very loud sila mag-share. So parang I really enjoyed my data gathering, especially yung FGD because it took me like 2 hours kasi sobrang dal-dal nila. Sobrang nag-share sila, ganyan. And then, sometime ata, nanood pa nga kami ng music video while we're doing the FGD. And sobrang excited nila to, share their stories and all. But, basically what I learned from them is that almost shared experience because we experience the same thing as fans, but yung intensity it's different for us. So yung iba sobrang ito daw yung impact ng BTS sa life niya. Parang ito naman ganito yung impact niya. Yung isa naman medyo detached siya, medyo ayaw niyang I think okay, I forgot the name. Pero yung isa kong participant medyo hindi siya yung tulad ng iba. Medyo medyo distant siya.
Detached siya.
Yeah.
Pero nagsusupport pa rin siya sa BTS. Tapos let's talk about their parasocial relationship with BTS. Ano yung ba yung nafe-feel or nararamdaman nilang connection with the group?
I think yung kasi dun sa pag binase mo siya sa theory, if you read my thesis, dun siya sa intensification part na nagpe-play out na talaga yung impact ng BTS sa lives nila. Some of them pagkatapos ng exam, ganyan, they listen to BTS songs to comfort them. Tapos whenever they're just doing something else, tapos BTS comes to their mind kasi parang, okay, this thing reminds me of BTS.
Right.
Ganyan. Tapos in tough times, talagang they listen to the song of BTS or they watch BTS to lift themselves up. So sobrang impactful nung BTS in their lives talaga.
Talaga makikita natin na parang friend. Parang nandyan talaga yung BTS for them as well. Tapos, ang naaalala ko kasi, most of the fans, and I think a lot of the people that I know who are fans of BTS, ang kanilang bias ay si V.
Yeah.
Diba? Pati dun sa mga ini-interview mo, parang most of them, either si V or si Jin, yung bias nila. Paano nga ba pumipili ng bias, Jovi?
Okay, so according sa research ko, medyo nagpe-play out first yung physical attraction nila. So of course, talagang magle-lead doon si V and si Jin and si Jungkook in a way. Kasi very physically attractive sila, eh. When you first see them, mahu-hook ka kaagad sa kanila kasi, gwapo sila and all those. And then secondly, pipiliin siya nung participants ko according sa personality nila. So
Grabe yung personality, no? Kasi these are personalities that you just consume
yes.
through media, nababasa mo lang sa kanila, pero they assume that this is their personality. That's very interesting.
Yeah, they construct their own their understanding of the personalities of BTS according to the media they consume.
So,
So
kunyari, si RM, anong ang personality niya?
si RM clumsy na genius, ganun. Ganun yung
Tapos leader,
personality.
siya ang leader.
Yes.
'Di ba? Siya ang spokesperson. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
Okay. So talagang binubuo pala yung personality based on
Yes.
everything that they consume.
Yeah, kasi when you first become a fan, you just watch say music videos, and music can only do so much. So parang that's the beauty of K-pop actually, because after you subscribe to their music, you can actually know more about them through their variety shows, through their real lives, through their Twitter. Sobrang daming nilang media that you can reach out to them. So very accessible siya sa fans.
Right. Right. Tapos nakita ko rin, Jovi, yung pinag-uusapan ng mga participants mo, yung growth nila
Yes.
as an artist, 'di ba? Tsaka yung growth nila as an artist is connected to their growth as people, 'di ba? Nabasa ko sa YouTube, meron pala sa kanila na hindi masyadong well off before, tas
Mm.
ngayon because of hard work, syempre sobrang yaman na ng BTS because of everything that they have accomplished. Meron sa kanila hindi tanggap ng family ba yung pagiging K-pop nila, tapos ngayon syempre sumikat na rin sila as such. How do you think these people or these fans identify with such stories?
Ayun, parang I think especially with Filipino fans, we love underdogs talaga so much. And yeah, BTS is an underdog. They're not from a big company. They're not from the big three. Big Hit is parang a very, very small company when they started. So, and then it rose to where it is now. So talagang fans are very much hooked to the development they saw over time, especially pag old fan ka na, yung
Mm.
growth na yun, sobrang, parang, you feel like you're part of it. You feel like you chipped in to that growth, so parang sobrang attached sila to that idea, as well as, those stories of BTS na parang, um, I think some of the members experience mental health problems
Mm.
during their promotions, ganyan. So parang, and then the way they manage to love themselves, especially yung message nila na love themselves, sobrang doon na comfort yung fans that they feel identified then in a way na parang, oh, BTS knows that I have these problems, and then they have these problems. So even though they're idols and I'm just like a normal person, it makes us the same. So medyo ganun yung idea ng mga fans.
At lalo nag-i-intensify yung relationship nila with BTS. Tapos, I think two things that I learned about your study is that first, pati yung mode of expression of these fans, 'di ba? Talagang
Yeah.
nagde-develop din sila with the development of BTS. 'Di ba may mga nagpakulay ng hair,
Yes, 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 yes.
'di ba?
It was my friend. As in,
Kasi
nagpagawa din siya ng cardboard, as in life-size cardboard, yung bias niya si Jimin, just
okay.
for, you know, the sake of it.
Tapos ano yung mga products din na sinusupport nila? Talagang
Mm,
sobrang support sila with the tweets, with buying these merch, 'di ba?
yeah. I have some naman na parang since wall-off sila, some participants na wall-off, they really buy a lot of BTS merch and albums. So meron silang sariling shelf for it. Meron din naman akong fans na super practical. So they opt to buy those BT21. That's what you call the official merch of BTS. So they buy the practical ones in BT21, such as stationery kit, those that they
Mm.
can use for studying and on. Yun yung may mga ganun akong side ng practical fans. Whereas meron din naman akong participants na they just don't buy financially kasi medyo practical talaga sila super. So they
Mm.
invest just like me when I was in high school, they invest with streaming and online support. So
So
ganun yung
talagang with what you have, right? With what you have, you will support the BTS. Ang interesting para sa akin, Jovi, if most of the time they're happy with the achievements of BTS, alin sa tingin mo yung nagpapa-heartbreak sa isang BTS Army?
oh, 'pag na-e-endure, yun super.
Hmm.
Kahit regardless of fandom, 'pag yung idol mo na-endure and then they had to take a break for a while. Sobrang
Yung injury
heartbreaking.
na ito ay dahil sa mga trainings nila
Mhm.
because of their dances. Okay. So,
Yeah.
talagang malaki din pala yung injury. Maraming injury din na nangyayari because of how passionate these people are in terms
Mm.
of their craft.
Yeah. Because if parang say medyo image parang may mga haters lang ganyan, hindi naman sila masyado affected dun yung mga fans. Kapag may something that really directly involves their idols, dun sila magiging heartbroken.
Okay. Okay, that's very interesting to hear as well. So talagang relate na relate sila with what these idols are going through. Tapos nakita ko rin, siguro bago tayo magtapos ng ating podcast, grabe yung idol training.
Yeah.
Hindi lang ng BTS, ang daming K-pop groups na grabe yung idol training.
Mm.
So, siguro dito rin nakikita ng mga fans, no, na talagang their idols are putting a lot of effort and a lot of time para
Mm.
gumaling. Like BTS, ilang years sila naghintay before their debut?
I think the longest was RM and Suga. I think mga 20, oh my God, sorry sa mga talaga nakakaalala nito. Rusty na yung memory ko. Pero around 4 years ata sila naghintay for their debut.
Grabe, no? Tapos in those 4 years, talagang effort, time, patience, and everything. So
Yes.
talagang, feeling ko talagang every K-pop group, they deserve the support of these fans. Not just the Filipino fans, but all over the world. Ngayon, as well. So maybe the last question, Jovi, is, as a fan researcher, kasi hindi ka lang researcher, parang half fan, half
Mm.
researcher ka when you did your thesis, what were your own learnings?
Mm.
In terms of being a fan researcher, maganda ba na fan ka and researcher at the same time?
Actually, I had a lot of learnings throughout the process. First of all, I think this is a good advice to all those doing the research in the future. I think you should be passionate about your topic. So I think that's what really, really helped me throughout. Kasi when you, as a college person, diba, when you hear the word thesis, medyo daunting siya, medyo, kapagod, ganyan. Pero ako, when I did my thesis, sobrang na-enjoy ko siya. I think it's also because I really, really, really love my topic. And then in a way, I learned na, ang dami pang kailangang aralin with fan studies. And then I also got to talk to the researchers I really look up to. For example, si Jonathan Cohen, I was able to email them to ask for insights and all those. So medyo, kasi I also love research talaga. So parang, ayun, medyo sobrang nahook ako.
Yes,
Na-enjoy ko yung
parang marrying
process.
both interests.
Yeah, kasi parang it's like mixing your two worlds, your student self and then your fangirl self. So parang it's a mix of both, and then you love it regardless, and then you learn a lot from it. Actually, kaya nga sometimes in Twitter kasi I have a quite a number of following. So minsan nag-share ako ng insights ko whenever I watch something kasi I'm very analytical din of what I consume.
So
So
Jovi, di ba, usong-uso din ngayon yung mga, ano yun, mga stan Twitter.
yes.
So ibig sabihin may stan Twitter ka din.
Yes, may stan Twitter ako
So
na
para
medyo
dun sa mga listeners natin na not really familiar, di ba, meron tayong our own personal Twitter, who we
yes.
are talaga. Tapos meron kang stan Twitter that you
Yeah.
contribute your thoughts, yung mga sa tweets, sa mga hashtags, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Bakit sa tingin mo nagkaka-stan Twitter ang mga tao?
Cause to separate their identities, cause some of my friends in stan Twitter aren't out as fans kasi they still have that stigma, na parang yung friends nila, rather,
Mm.
pag nalaman nila na fan ka, medyo, gaganyan, medyo may negative connotation pa rin yung pagiging fan. Kaya part yun ng RL kung may gano'n pa rin siya, so we need to understand fans more. Kaya hindi ka rin talaga, minsan ako, I use my SUD um, when I am in stan Twitter, cause to protect my identity as well. Kasi syempre, internet is a very scary place.
Mm.
Yun.
It's really interesting how the K-pop, it's not just a group, it's a community
Yes, it
worldwide,
is.
di ba? I'm sure sa stan Twitter man yan or sa personal Twitter man yan, you've been meeting a lot of same-minded like-minded individuals, individuals with the same passion, di ba? Nakaka-boost din siya ng moral mo when you meet people with the same level of passion, with the same level of commitment and energy as well. So last question to end our discussion today. What does being a K-pop fan bring to your life? What does it add to your life right now? 'Di ba?
Okay.
Kasi hindi ka lang K-pop fan ng BTS, eh. K-pop fan ka in general. And in the process of being a K-pop fan, ano yung mga natutunan mo and paano siya nadagdag sa as a as a human being?
Okay. I think I cannot imagine myself not a K-pop fan because, like what you said earlier, sir, parang half of my life is dedicated to me
Half
as a
of your life
K-pop.
and still going, 'di ba?
Yes. So yun. So parang I learned a lot from this experience because of course, when I was younger, medyo meron kang um stereotype with Asians. So medyo na-break yon, and then I become more I'm sorry. I became more aware of the the happenings in the world. Kasi sir, pag tumambay ka talaga sa stand Twitter, sobrang marami kang matututunan because these people are all from different parts of the world. So minsan talaga mabibring up yung mga cultural appropriation topics,
Hmm.
yung mga gantong sensitive topics, tas ma-enlighten ka na parang, oh my God, it's really related to K-pop pa rin pala. So, yun yung mga learnings ko. And then, I think K-pop, in a sense, really helped me. All throughout my high school, my university life, they really, really helped me. Like, I cannot imagine myself not listening to a K-pop song whenever I study. Sobrang mood mood booster. So parang, when I'm sad, I listen to this type of playlist in my Spotify, or when I'm down, when I'm happy, this type naman, ganyan. Tapos parang it's a means of entertainment and parang safe place na rin for me. Especially last year. Especially last year na
Yes.
it was very difficult for all of us. Pero parang in a way for me, I managed to get through it through K-pop talaga kasi all those contents I consume, they really helped me last year.
Right. Thank you so much, Jovi. Ang ganda ng idea ng safe place, right? Ang K-pop, specifically ang BTS. Naalala ko nga parang when pandemic started last year, parang may friend ako na parang nag-tweet lang siya, sino ba yung parang guy na kasama ni James Corden? Di ba meron sila
Mhm.
na carpool karaoke?
Yeah.
Tapos tinatanong niya yung name, si Visha. So parang sinagot ko si Visha because I'm quite familiar with the Seven. Tapos ngayon, bumibili na siya ng K-pop merch. Alam niya na yung schedule, nakikisama na siya sa mga hashtags. So talagang K-pop phenomenon, it's not just something that is an experience for everyone. For me, parang it has been a home to a lot of
Mhm.
Filipino fans as well. Talagang kapag may problema, kapag masaya sila, they really go home and they really understand where these people are coming from. At tama ka, Jovi, I think in terms of fandom studies, that's the goal of fandom studies, to understand where these fans are coming from, lalo na when they subscribe to the rhetoric of all of these K-pop, in even K-drama. 'Di ba? In the last few months, parang Team Dosan versus Team Jipyong.
Oo.
Ang daming kasama doon sa K-drama craze as well. So, thank you so much, Jovi, for being with us in this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I do hope you learned something new about the K-pop fandoms and even being a BTS fan. So, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in our next episode.